Imagine standing in front of a room full of people. All eyes are on you. Your heart races, your hands sweat, your mind suddenly feels blank. Why does this happen to so many people? Why does speaking in public cause such a strong fear, even when there's no real danger? It's strange because public speaking is something millions of people do every day. Teachers, politicians, business leaders. And yet, for most of us, it's one of the scariest things we can face. Studies show that nearly 75% of people say they fear public speaking. It's often ranked as one of the biggest fears, even above death. But why? What exactly makes speaking in front of others so terrifying? And more importantly, what happens inside our brains and bodies that turns a simple task like talking into a fight-or-flight response? The answer lies deep inside the way humans are wired. For thousands of years, being watched by a group of people was risky. Our ancestors needed to protect their place in the tribe. Being judged or rejected could mean losing food, shelter, or even life. So the fear of public speaking is not just about talking. It's tied to something much older, the fear of social rejection and isolation. When you stand in front of an audience, your brain activates the same areas that light up when you feel physical pain. Social rejection hurts us almost like a physical injury. This response triggers your body's stress system. Your heart beats faster, your palms get sweaty, your breathing changes. These reactions are automatic. They prepare you to either face danger or run away. But in modern times, there is no real threat of danger when you speak in public. The fear becomes something trapped in the past, causing discomfort without real reason. Understanding this can be the first step to overcoming this common fear. But there's more. Some researchers have found that the fear of public speaking is also connected to something called spotlight effect. This means we tend to think that others notice our mistakes or flaws far more than they actually do. You might worry that everyone will see if you stumble on a word or if your voice shakes. But in reality, the audience is often much more forgiving and focused on their own thoughts. In fact, psychologists say that only 10% of an audience actually notice small errors during a speech. So why does our brain trick us into thinking we're being watched under a microscope? It all comes down to self-awareness and fear of judgment. We want to be accepted, liked, and respected. This makes the idea of failing in public feel threatening to our self-esteem. Over the next few parts, we'll explore the science behind these fears, how our bodies react, and what can be done to manage and even overcome this common fear. For now, remember this: the fear you feel when speaking in public is normal. You're not alone, and it is possible to understand and control it. Now that we know the fear of public speaking is tied to ancient survival instincts and social judgment, let's look closer at what happens inside your brain when you face a crowd. When you step up to speak, your brain goes through a series of automatic reactions. One key player here is the amygdala, a small almond-shaped part of the brain that controls your fear response. The amygdala is like an alarm system. When it senses danger or thinks it senses danger, it sends signals that prepare your body to react. In the case of public speaking, the amygdala can misinterpret the situation as threatening. Even though standing in front of people isn't physically dangerous, your brain treats it like a life-or-death moment. That's why your heart races and your muscles tense. It's your body getting ready to fight or flee. At the same time, the prefrontal cortex, which handles thinking and reasoning, gets overwhelmed. This part of your brain usually helps you stay calm and organized, but when the amygdala triggers fear, it can shut down the prefrontal cortex temporarily. This is why many people feel like their mind goes blank or they forget what they plan to say. The part of your brain responsible for logic and speech gets flooded by fear signals. This fight-or-flight reaction is helpful in real danger, but here it works against you. Your body is ready to escape, but your task is to stay and speak. Interestingly, scientists have discovered that some people have a more sensitive amygdala than others. This means their brain reacts more strongly to social threats like public speaking. Research shows that this sensitivity might explain why some people have more intense stage fright, while others feel only mild nervousness. But it's not just biology. Your past experiences also shape this fear. If you have ever had a negative experience speaking in public, maybe forgetting your words or feeling embarrassed, your brain remembers. It builds a fear map that makes you more likely to avoid similar situations. This is called conditioning. Just like touching a hot stove teaches you to be careful, a bad speech experience teaches your brain to expect fear and failure. On the other hand, positive self-talk can calm your brain and reduce fear. Studies show that people who use encouraging phrases like, "I'm prepared" or "I can do this," experience less anxiety. In the next part, we'll discuss how your body reacts physically to this fear and why those symptoms can feel so overwhelming. We'll also look at common myths about public speaking anxiety and what you can do to break free from them. For now, remember this: the fear of public speaking isn't just in your head. It's a real biological response built over thousands of years. Understanding it is the first step toward control. When fear hits, it's not just your brain reacting, your whole body gets involved. This is what people often call the fight or flight response. The moment you step in front of an audience, your body releases stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. These chemicals prepare you to face danger or run away. Adrenaline increases your heart rate and breathing. This sends more oxygen to your muscles, getting you ready to act fast. Your palms start to sweat, your mouth might feel dry, and your stomach could feel upset or butterflies, all because your body is on high alert. These physical reactions are natural. They helped our ancestors survive real threats. But in today's world, when the threat is simply speaking in public, these feelings can feel uncomfortable and distracting. Your heart pounding can make you feel like you're going to faint. Your shaky hands can make you worry about holding notes or using gestures. Sometimes your voice might crack or sound shaky. That's your vocal cords reacting to tension. All of this can make speaking in front of others feel even scarier, creating a cycle where fear causes physical symptoms, which then increase fear. This is why many people avoid public speaking altogether. It's also why practice alone doesn't always fix the fear. Even well-prepared speakers can feel nervous because their bodies are reacting automatically. Another important point is that the brain's memory center, called the hippocampus, works closely with the amygdala during stress. This means your brain stores these fearful experiences strongly, making it easier to recall anxiety in future speaking events. But here's the key: the body's response to fear can be trained and controlled. Techniques like deep breathing, muscle relaxation, and mindfulness can help calm the nervous system. For example, slow, deep breaths signal the brain that you're safe. This reduces adrenaline and lowers your heart rate. Research shows that people who use breathing exercises before speaking feel less anxious and perform better. Another useful method is visualization, imagining a successful speech before it happens. Visualizing positive outcomes can train your brain to expect success instead of failure, reducing fear. You don't have to be naturally brave to control these responses. It's a skill you can learn. Understanding the body's role explains why fear feels so real, but also how it can be managed. Next, we'll look at common myths about public speaking anxiety that hold many people back. We'll also discuss how to change your mindset so fear doesn't control your actions. For now, remember that fear doesn't define your ability. How you respond to fear does. Many people believe things about public speaking anxiety that aren't true. These myths can make fear worse by creating unrealistic expectations. Let's look at some of the most common myths and the real facts behind them. Myth 1. Fear means you're not good at speaking. Many think that feeling nervous means they're bad speakers, but that's not true. Even the best speakers get nervous. Famous orators, actors, and leaders have admitted to stage fright. What sets them apart is not the absence of fear, it's how they handle it. Feeling nervous is natural. It shows you care about your message and your audience. The goal isn't to get rid of fear completely, but to manage it so it doesn't stop you. Myth 2, you have to be perfect. Some people fear public speaking because they think they must say everything perfectly. This puts a lot of pressure on them and makes mistakes feel like disasters. In reality, no one speaks perfectly all the time. Small slips, pauses, or even forgetting a word happen to everyone. Audiences are usually forgiving and focused on the overall message, not minor errors. Accepting that mistakes happen can reduce fear. Myth 3, the audience is judging you harshly. We often believe that every person in the audience is watching us closely, waiting for mistakes. This spotlight effect makes us feel like we're under a microscope. But studies show that most people in an audience are not paying as much attention as you think. They're often more focused on their own thoughts or reactions. Understanding this can ease the pressure. Myth 4, public speaking is only for extroverts. Many shy or introverted people think they can't be good speakers. But public speaking is a skill, not a personality trait. Introverts can be excellent speakers by preparing and practicing. They often bring calmness and thoughtfulness to their speeches. Being quiet doesn't mean you can't be heard. Myth 5, you can't improve. Some people believe they're stuck with their fear forever. This stops them from trying to get better. But public speaking is a skill anyone can improve. With practice, training, and the right mindset, fear can decrease significantly. Now that we've busted some myths, it's important to talk about mindset, how your thoughts shape your experience. Changing your mindset can transform fear into confidence. Instead of thinking, "I'm scared," you can think, "I'm ready." Next, we'll explore practical steps to build confidence and handle fear when speaking in public. For now, remember, fear doesn't define your ability. How you respond to fear does. Now that we've learned what causes fear and cleared up common myths, let's talk about how to build confidence and manage that fear when speaking in public. First, preparation is key. The more familiar you are with your material, the less your brain will worry about making mistakes. Practice your speech several times. This helps your brain create a mental map of what you want to say, which can reduce anxiety. But don't just memorize word for word. Instead, focus on the main points and ideas. This way, you can speak more naturally, which also helps you connect with your audience. Next, try practicing in front of a mirror or recording yourself. Watching your own performance helps you notice areas to improve, but also shows you're capable. If possible, practice in front of a small, supportive group of friends or family. They can give positive feedback and help you get used to having an audience. Another important tip is learning to control your breathing. Slow, deep breaths calm your nervous system and reduce the physical symptoms of fear. Before you speak, try breathing in deeply through your nose for a count of 4, hold for 4 seconds, then slowly breathe out through your mouth for 4 seconds. Repeat this a few times to relax. Visualization is another useful tool. Spend a few minutes imagining yourself giving a strong, confident speech. Picture the audience reacting positively, nodding, smiling, or clapping. This mental rehearsal helps your brain prepare for success. Also, focus on the message you want to share, not on how you look or sound. When your attention shifts from yourself to your message, fear often decreases. Remember, your audience is there to hear what you have to say, not to judge you. Finally, accept that nervousness might not disappear completely. Even experienced speakers feel some anxiety before going on stage. But with practice, the fear becomes manageable, and you can use the energy it gives you to improve your performance. The key is to keep speaking. Each experience builds confidence. Over time, you'll find that your fear shrinks and your ability grows. In the final part, we'll summarize everything and share some quick tips to keep your fear under control whenever you need to speak publicly. We've covered a lot about why we fear public speaking, from ancient brain reactions to common myths and practical ways to build confidence. Now, let's pull it all together with some simple tips you can use anytime fear starts to creep in before a speech. Tip 1. Accept your fear. Remember, feeling nervous is normal. Don't fight it or try to erase it completely. Accept it as part of the process and know it doesn't mean you can't do well. Tip 2. Prepare and practice. The more you know your material, the less your brain will worry about making mistakes. Practice your speech several times. This helps your brain create a mental map of what you want to say, which can reduce anxiety. Tip 3. Use breathing techniques. Deep, slow breaths calm your body and mind. Try the 4-4-4 breathing method. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4, and out for 4. Tip 4. Visualize success. Imagine yourself speaking clearly and confidently. Picture the audience responding well. This sets your brain to expect positive results. Tip 5. Shift your focus. Concentrate on your message, not on yourself. When your attention shifts from yourself to your message, fear often decreases. Remember, your audience is there to hear what you have to say, not to judge you. Finally, tip 6. Start small. If you're new to public speaking, begin with small groups or informal settings. Gradually build up to larger audiences as your confidence grows. Tip 7. Keep speaking. Every chance to speak is practice. Over time, repeated experiences reduce fear and increase skill. Finally, remember this. Fear of public speaking is one of the most common fears in the world. You are not alone in feeling this way. With understanding, preparation, and practice, you can overcome this fear. You can learn to stand in front of a crowd and speak with confidence. Your voice matters, and now you know why your brain sometimes tries to stop you from sharing it. Use that knowledge, take control, and one day, what once felt terrifying will become something you face with calm and strength. Thank you for watching. If you've ever felt nervous about speaking in public, remember it's a feeling millions share. Understanding why we fear public speaking is the first step to overcoming it. Keep practicing, be kind to yourself, and trust that your voice is important. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing for more stories and tips on common fears and how to face them. See you next time.